An introduction to the term set methodology. A term set requires three things: the name of the clinical code dictionary, together with the version of that dictionary, a list of inclusion terms, and a list of exclusion terms. The methodology for term set creation is then iterative and makes use of the hierarchy of clinical codes. So let's give an example. Let's imagine this is a clinical code set hierarchy. We start by specifying an inclusion term. So I'm interested in a code set for diabetes. So I enter the word diabetes. The green nodes in the graph represent the codes in the hierarchy that exactly match the term diabetes. So the definitions of these codes will somewhere contain the word diabetes. Now, because codes within a hierarchy are clustered depending on their type, we could imagine that the codes over on the left represent diagnoses. So that branch of the hierarchy could be diagnoses. On the right, it might be administration codes. These might be codes relating to invites for diabetes reviews or diabetes screenings. We might notice in the diagnoses the term gestational diabetes comes up. Now, we might not want to include that in our set for academic reasons, so we would add the term gestational diabetes to the exclusion terms. This has now excluded the three nodes over on the left. Now you'll notice there are these 5 yellow nodes that have not been matched by our inclusion terms, but they are descendants of codes that have been matched. So these will be things that are related to diabetes, but they just don't contain the word diabetes for some reason. The term set methodology says that you must add inclusion or exclusion terms until these codes have been explicitly included or explicitly excluded. In this case, it might be that those codes use a phrase like DM instead of diabetes mellitus. So perhaps by adding the term type 2 DM, that now matches some of those unmatched descendants. And over on the right, maybe some of these diabetes admin codes are for screening invites. If you've been invited for a screening test, then you likely do not have diabetes, whereas if you've been invited for a diabetes review, then you probably do. And this finishes our term set. We have a list of inclusion terms, a list of exclusion terms, and we have made sure that there are no descendant codes that are not matched by at least one inclusion or one exclusion term.